All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on? SHIPIT Nation YouTube station back March 4th here, Monday. Got my guy Hamwich with me as always. Hamwich, I'll bring you in, man. Happy Monday. How you doing? How's your weekend? What's going on, man?
Yeah, not much. It's looking forward to this slate. Interesting slate. We only got 4 games for those folks that play on FanDuel like myself. 6 games for the folks that play on DK, and it's one that the ones that want to stay up all night and make adjustments all night would love because it stretches from 6:30, I believe, or 7:30 Eastern. I believe that last game tips at 10:30 Eastern, Nades. But so interested in that. Weekend was good. Went to watch the Predators play some hockey on Saturday. What else did I do? Some more fun stuff. I saw it was another day that ended in Y with our guy Hoop shipping, having another, close to a shipper, for another 40K day for Hoop. But other than that, ready to talk some NBA and, say hello to the people in the chat.
Yeah, you named it. Well, congratulations to Hoop. Continues to ship there. 2 members in the top 5 I saw on that screenshot there. And let's go ahead. And if you guys are not a member yet, not in the nation over here, number one, I'm not sure what you guys are doing. We have the cheapest all-in rate in the industry, and we're giving you 15% off using that promo code HOOP15. Any membership plan for life, not just the first month. Any membership plan for life. Obviously, with the addition of the DGen 75 crew coming over, we added NASCAR, we added college football, and we added the best showdown projections and a whole another caveat to our PGA content, which continues to be a printer. Obviously, Hoop coming off a massive PGA weekend there, looking to keep that momentum rolling into this week. So if you guys are not a member yet, use that promo code HOOP15, gets you 15% off any membership plan. Get in the best community in the industry. Join that Discord chat. Other like-minded individuals talking through sports, game theory, are in there through all the wee hours of the night talking. Early morning, I see our guy Hebrew in there all the time, grinding in there. Got Parabay in there. Happy birthday to him. I'm sure he's out there watching, so congrats to him and his recent success and everyone else in there. Obviously, if I don't shout you out, we do appreciate each and every one of you there. So if not, just go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Helps us out a ton here. We got 6 games on tap. Let's jump right in. Parabay, I see you right there. First comment. Happy birthday to you, man. Looking to keep that rolling for you. Hebrew in the chat. Go collect. Jake Swales, Nate D. What's going on, everybody? Let's kick off with this first game here, Hamwich. We got Memphis and we got Brooklyn. Pretty interesting game overall. We do have some injury news. A 206 total in this one, 10-point spread here. In terms of the injury news, we got Ben Simmons is out, Cam Thomas is out, Brandon Clark is out on the Memphis side, Jaren Jackson Jr. is doubtful, Memphis. Derrick Rose is also out, and Zaire Williams is out for Memphis. Basically, Memphis's whole team is out, so you're left with the skeleton squad of Vince Williams Jr., Jordan Goodwin, Kennard, Gregory Jackson, Aldama. Lamar Stevens. You got Conchar in there. On the Brooklyn side, you got Cam Johnson right now, seems to be in a pretty good spot here, seems to be getting a decent amount of ownership on the slate, coming off of back-to-back 2 good games now. Is just 5'8" here in this matchup. Talk to me, first game to kick it off here, 6:30 Central Time, 7:30 Eastern.
Yeah, it's an interesting game. It's a gross game. Obviously, Memphis is playing their G League team. No one's playing, and then I'm the never Brooklyn guy. I just can't seem to get those guys right. I don't know when the last time anyone on Brooklyn has been in the winter, but I actually kind of like Memphis a little bit. 2 pieces specifically that I want to touch on that I think are really good plays. First one, G.G. Jackson coming in at the power forward position. Nets, Brooklyn, one of the worst teams against forwards in the NBA, bottom third anyway. He's only 5,100. Should see an uptick in minutes tonight. Jaren Jackson Jr. is listed as doubtful. You just mentioned all the other folks that wouldn't be playing. So G.G. Jackson, ton of interest in him. And then my favorite Grizzly is going to be Vince Williams Jr., shooting guard and small forward eligible. We've seen him all year long just be one of their better players, I guess, if you can say they've had a good player. But over the last 2-3 weeks, he's going to get 35-plus minutes. There's no Zaire Williams. There's no Jaren Jackson Jr., no Desmond Bane, no Ja. I mean, Marcus Smart, the list goes on and on. And he's been the one constant all year long. And I just alluded to, Brooklyn struggling against forwards. He's a combo guard / forward. So give me Gigi at 5,100. Really like that play. Really like Vince Williams Jr. at 6,800. Then on the other side, the one net that I seem to constantly play when I do play him, Dennis Schroeder has a great matchup at 5,900, depending on the minutes he's going to get. And then Nick Claxton, really like him to take advantage of Santi Aldama. No Jaren Jackson Jr., no big man, so to speak. So give me Schroeder, Claxton if I was going to play one of them. Then really like Gigi and Vince on the other side.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown here. I'm with you. I do like, I think Cam Thomas is a pretty solid play here. He's got a pretty solid matchup in this spot here, obviously going against this G League squad here. Played 30 minutes back-to-back games. He is only powerful eligible, but the price checks out for me at 5,800. 2 good games in a row, right? Shooting 10 of 15, 6 of 12. Finally found those that shot a little bit there, picking up some rebounds there. He's taken some 3-point attempts, right? 11 and 7 in both of his last 2 games. So I think he's a fine option on the Brooklyn side. But overall, to kick us off, I mean, I don't love this game a ton. Lowest total on the slate, 10-point spread here. Brooklyn, massive favorites, obviously at home. So I do think Cam Johnson is fine. On the other side, I'm with you. It's another power forward of interest for me. Gregory Jackson here at 5-1. Just from a usage standpoint, he's going to get a ton of usage here. Santi Aldama is also going to get a ton of usage. Aldama doesn't have the best matchup at all by any means going up against Claxton, right? But I do think the usage is going to be there overall. I mean, Jordan Goodwin, Vince Williams, I think you could go to just from a ball handling perspective. They're going to be the main ball handlers here, but pretty much not a ton of interest for me outside of a Cameron Johnson play, I think is a fine option. But outside of that, even with all the shorthandedness, I just don't really love the spot for Memphis for sure. They've been the worst offensive rated team here in the league since all these injuries, I believe, as well. And you want points. You want teams that are going to get up and down the court, score a lot of points. Obviously, that leads to more fantasy points. I just don't think Memphis fits that build right now. And on the other side, Brooklyn, just a piece or two. Just seems like they spread it out around quite a bit. But the price on Cam Johnson is pretty fair. So I do have some interest in him. And then maybe a flyer value on a guy like Dorian Finney-Smith at 4-4. I don't think would be the craziest play here. He should get his upper 20s, low 30s minutes at 4-4 in this matchup. I think he's a solid option as well. Let's jump into the next game here. Portland and Minnesota, 209.5 total. So another very, very small total here. Obviously, Portland, one of the worst teams in the league here, going up against one of the best teams in the league here in Minnesota. 14-point spread in terms of injuries. Kyle Anderson's questionable. McLaughlin's questionable. DeAndre Ayton is questionable. Kamara's also questionable. Thibault is questionable in terms of injuries. Guys that are out, Malcolm Brogdon's out, and Scoot Henderson is out. Jeremy Grant is doubtful. So there is some injury news here, mainly on the Portland side. Obviously, it's a very tough matchup here, but talk to me in this one because obviously some of these Portland pieces could get a little better, especially if DeAndre Ayton does miss this game.
Yeah, this game is going to get ugly. It's going to get ugly quick for the Portland Trailblazers playing one of the better teams in the NBA. They've had their they've beat up on the Grizzlies back-to-back games, but now they head into the Twin Cities to take on this Grizzlies teams, one of the best, if not the best, defensive team in the NBA. And you alluded to it, DeAndre Ayton, he's missed a lot of games, still questionable. Thibault is questionable as well. You're missing Malcolm Brogdon. You're missing Scoot Henderson. Jeremy Grant is questionable as well. Minnesota, in my opinion, will easily cover this 14-point spread. No interest in any of these Trailblazers. I think they get run out of the gym. And then my favorite Timberwolf is going to be Rudy Gobert at center. The Trailblazers absolutely struggle against big men. Give me some Rudy Gobert. Don't mind that price at 7,500. Any of those big guns for the T-Wolves are fine. If you want to go Ant, that's fine. Cat's probably good. Naz Reid at 5'7" is a good play. And then the other one I want to talk about is going to be Jaden McDaniels, 33, 45, 34 minutes his last 3. This guy's going to play 30-plus minutes, going to get up, around 10 shots and have some of the peripherals. At that price tag, I think he can get to 30 points easily, talking about DK points. So I think he could pay off that tag. It'd be Rudy Gobert for me, Jaden McDaniels for me as well. And then I'm going to bet on the T-Wolves tonight to cover that 14-point spread. I think this one gets out of hand early. Needs.
Yeah, I agree. Don't have a ton of interest. I guess if you want a low-owned Anthony Edwards, right? New dad narrative there at 8,800. Last time he played these guys, I believe he smashed the matchup here. But again, it's a massive spread, low total here. And both these games aren't the greatest to kick us off. This next one is a decent game, I guess, in my opinion. But pretty much the slate revolves around, obviously, that game locking at 9 p.m. Eastern time, 8 p.m. Central time, the Washington-Utah game, which obviously there's a lot to talk about in that game. So that's kind of the pivotal game, and we're going to want as much news as possible. So these first two games, a little bit under on these two. You could grab some of these Portland guys, but it's just a terrible matchup here going into Minnesota. So not trying to sign up for them. And then just on the Minnesota side, a contrarian spend up in Ant Edwards, I think, is a solid option at 8,800. But overall, not a ton of interest for me in these first two. Let's talk about this next one here. We have the Clippers heading into Milwaukee, who I think the Bucks have won, 5 straight now, getting it right here. Everyone talked about the Bucks basically being, it sounded like the local news for sure here in Wisconsin seemed like the Bucks were the worst team in the East, and they're sitting top 3. Everyone slandering them, right? And I said, just take a deep breath, right? They're going to be fine. All they need to do is make the playoffs. I think they're a better playoff team now with the addition of Dame, being able to spread the court and stuff. But let's talk about it here in this matchup. 225 total, 4.5 point spread. In terms of injury news, got Giannis is questionable. Beauchamp is out. Obviously, Livingston is out. And then Middleton is out as well. Talk about this game in terms of that. Obviously, on the Clippers side, basically fully healthy, right? Harden's there. Kawhi's there, Paul George is there, Zubac's in there, Powell, Terrence Mann. They got their full squad. Talk about this game, Milwaukee Clippers.
Yeah, we haven't gotten to the playoffs yet, Nate, and we know Doc Rivers, once he gets in the playoffs, he loves choking. So once they get to the playoffs, good first, second round exit. You can play the Heat, lose a 1-8 again. Hey, Milwaukee Bucks have an early summer. Join you in Cabo. I mean, you can go join him in Cabo, and then Russ. We got Russ broke his hand the other night, missing for the Clippers. So certainly his 14 minutes a night will be missed by those Clippers. Get well soon, Russ. We love you over here at SHIPITNation.com. But, yeah, I mean, Giannis is having a Q tag, right, 11-5. I mean, that's going to be an important piece. More than likely will play. He's often questionable, but Giannis plays. I think he's squarely in play against his team. The Clippers do have a good defensively, but Giannis is almost matchup proof. So I don't mind Giannis. I think 8-7 for Dame's a little high. I want to get my point guard exposure elsewhere, but I can certainly understand if you wanted to play him. But it would be Giannis in this game for me. And then I'm out on all these Clippers. It's just tough for me to pick those big three. Similar, I mean, they're better than the Nets, but similar in the sense that they have so many pieces that do so many things. So this one's Giannis if I get there at 11-5 or bust for me.
Yeah, no. First of all, hopefully y'all find a significant other out there that loves you about 1 million times more than Hamwich hates the Bucks. I'll tell you that, right? I don't think there's another team out there in the entire world that he hates more than Milwaukee here. Keep the slander rolling. We'll keep it up. I mean, at the end of the day, you still got Dame, still got Middleton, you still got Giannis coming into the playoffs there. You got some Brolo down low. We'll see what happens there. Like to see what your hometown team is, like our guy Newens in the chat, but it's good little friendly banter here on the show.
I'm from Denver, baby. I'm a Nuggets fan.
One of those closet Nuggets fans, right? One of those closet Nugget fans. They come out of the league out of nowhere the last couple of years, and right away Hamwich, right, wants to get on here and talk about these Nuggets. But in terms of this game, I think Giannis is fine. Obviously, if Giannis misses, right, Bobby Portis becomes an amazing option here. But overall, I mean, if Giannis plays, I think he's a fine spend up just like he is any night. But again, really not too much interest in this one here. So this slate is pretty much the last 3 games are going to dictate me on this slate for the most part. Obviously, everyone's going to kind of dictate the rosters around that Utah-Washington game. And then I'm going to fill in with some of those pieces from that OKC-Lakers game. Maybe grab a piece or two from that Chicago-Sacramento game. Sure, you can grab like a Cam Johnson, right, or one of these value guys that we talked about early. But outside of that, I really don't have a ton of interest here. I think Dame is a fine option at 8,700. He's got a solid projection, but just hard for me to get excited. It's Bobby Portis or myth. Bobby Portis, ton of interest, obviously, if Giannis misses. Dame becomes a great play if Giannis misses. But I expect Giannis to play. I think he's a fine option. But outside of that, don't really want to get to any of these Clippers. And I just think Milwaukee just keeps it rolling here. I think this game plays a little bit slower. kind of goes under the total here. So from a DFS perspective, which obviously matters what we care about, I don't have a ton of interest personally in this one either. Now we talk about the game of the slate here. And I've seen, obviously, it's been the talk in our Discord. I got Hebrew Rio's been in the chat, building the slate plan out, talking about this, talking about rules, right, in this game. Because if you run any optimizer right now across the industry, obviously we partner with the solver over here, which I believe is the best one. Not being biased, it's very easy to use. All of our projections are updated automatically into there for you as well if you use our package that we have there. But any optimizer, 4 or 5 of these Utah guys are getting slammed into place. Obviously, they're pretty shorthanded, right? When you lose 2 guys in your starting lineup, Walker Kessler, Lauri Markkanen, and then you got also guys, Keontae George, right? Midday downgrade, I believe, as well. Jordan Clarkson is back, which does help. But outside of that, I mean, you get that matchup against Washington, which is obviously not matchup. They don't play any defense. You have a shorthanded team, take 2 usage monsters off there, and you throw a guy in like Bryce Sensabaugh here at 3.2K, who's basically stone minimum price, going to play all the minutes he can handle. So definitely talk on this one. It's a very interesting game here from a DFS perspective. Total in that doesn't really matter. It is a 241 total as well, right? Which is the highest total on the slate. But it's more shorthanded Utah team against one of the worst teams, kind of behind right around the Pistons caliber here in Washington. So where are you going here? Spend a little time breaking this one down.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. And this is, some of those games we talked about was gross. Like had a 206 total. We think that Minnesota game is going to be a blowout, and it's a low total as well. So this one obviously is going to garner a bunch of attention, and rightfully so. We have 2 teams that are, 2 of the worst teams in the NBA. Jazz, the worst team defending the 3-point line, which is going to play right into the hands of the 2 guys I want to talk about first, being Kyle Kuzma, $7,400. I think that's a great price for him. Power forward and center eligible. So I think he's a great piece tonight. He is coming in, over 30% owned. So you have to decide, what you're going to do there. That's no secret there. And then the other one I want to talk about is Jordan Poole, who's kind of bought into his role, if you will. I didn't really think he would, but he has bought into his role coming off the bench. He's a 3-point shooter. He's going to gun him up there for sure. And like I said a minute ago, Utah is one of the worst, if not the worst, defending the 3-point line. And Poole's played, right around 30 minutes, since he's come off the bench, and he's shooting it, anywhere from 10 to 25 times, in those contests. So I think Poole's a great play. He's going to come in much lower owned than Kyle Kuzma at $6,000. Also, like 2 other players, Marvin Bagley the third, $6,100 center. We know Markkanen is going to miss tonight. We know Walker Kessler is going to miss tonight. So, both of those guys are missing. Jazz struggle against bigs as well. So give me some Marvin Bagley the third. And the last piece that I want to mention is going to be Tyus Jones at the point guard position, $6,200. I really like him tonight. So where a lot of the focus and a lot of the attention is coming in on the Utah Jazz, and rightfully so, they're playing, the worst basketball team in the NBA. I think this Washington team gets a great matchup as well with the key pieces. So I'll be interested in those 4 that I just mentioned for Washington. And on the other side, it's John Collins for me, $6,500. Once again, he's coming in over 30% owned, almost 40% owned. I'm going to be out on Keontae George. I heard you say midday downgrade for him. That just scares me. Anytime I hear the words midday downgrade, that scares me. It's certainly a great play. The Jazz have given him the keys to that offense, but midday downgrade, it's going to scare me off. Give me some Colin Sexton and replace with him. He's $600 more. And then obviously the cheap guys, Bryce Sensabaugh is going to be very popular. Taylor Hendricks should be very popular. But without question, you'll have multiple pieces of this game in your lineup tonight, I would assume. It's going to be high scoring compared to some of the other ones. Then I saw a question earlier in the chat about who's going to be replacing Markkanen, I think it was. I think it's going to be a combination of folks between, John Collins, Taylor Hendricks. I don't know if they have any other bigs that, that they would play, may go small ball, but if Nades, it'd be good to know. But I think it's going to be mainly those 2 guys.
Yeah, right now, first I just want to give a pour one out for our guy Newens in the chat. Newens understands, right? I mean, how much? I mean, put the drink down, buddy. I understand it's 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon here for you on a Monday afternoon. Might have had a tough day at the office, right? Couple of stressful meetings out there. You're spewing some crazy stuff right now, slandering the Bucks that hard, and then coming back with a pool party, right? I understand the weather's getting warmer across the country here, but I don't know if it's swim trunk season here, and I don't think I'm going to be jumping in the pool tonight. So I'll leave the pool party to you. I do want to talk about this game, obviously. All fun aside here, from the Utah Jazz side in particular, lineups, like I said, 4 or 5 of these Jazz are going to be slammed in every optimizer. I think setting a rule to 2 to 3 max of these Utah side, but also including Washington side, right? If this game does play to the total or play over the total of 241, some of these Utah sides, I mean, the Jazz are bottom 5 in the league in terms of defensive rating as well. It's not just that Washington's terrible defensively. That is true, but Utah's also bad defensively. And now you take 2 guys out, like a Walker Kessler, like a Lauri Markkanen, 2 solid defenders. Obviously gives a big boost to a guy like Marvin Bagley at 6'1" here. I'm seeing sub 10% ownership on Marvin Bagley at 6'1". I think he's a solid guy. I think he's a great play. I like Tyus Jones a lot. You can take your pool party, find $200 and go up to Tyus Jones. I think Tyus Jones is a better play here than Jordan Poole. I think they'll be pretty similar in terms of ownership, I think. And then Corey Kispert, right? I see our guy Rio in the chat talking about Corey Kispert. The thing I like about him is he's going to take 7 to 10 3-point attempts here against a team that just can't defend the 3-point line. Overall, this game is going to be a track meet. He's going to be out there chucking. So I do like him. Koulibaly does return back to this lineup, so we'll see how much that affects a guy like Kyle Kuzma, right, who's projected to be probably around 40% owned. I think Kuzma is a solid play here at 7,400. The minutes are going to be intact, but Koulibaly coming back might affect him a little bit, might not. I guess we'll see. We'll figure out here tonight. John Collins, I think, is in a great play. Doesn't take me to tell you that. He's going to play all the minutes he can handle. He's been good. He's 6'5". The price checks out. I like him a lot. But from a starting lineup perspective, it does look right now that obviously Keontae George is expected to start. I don't think he does. Midday downgrade. So you'll likely see Talen Horton-Tucker get a boost in minutes. And then you'll probably see a guy like Chris Dunn slide in the starting lineup at 3,800. He would become obviously one of the highest owned plays on the slate. It's also going to boost Talen Horton-Tucker's ownership, who already seems to be a very chalky value play. I think he's fine. It's just going to lead to more minutes for him. I think he's a solid option. But again, when you're playing this game, especially in tournaments in cash, right, it's a little different. But in tournaments, which we all want to play, you want to get to the top and ship all the money. I think limiting to 2 or 3 of these Jazz is definitely an interesting approach because we really don't know, right, what's going to happen. I mean, Taylor Hendricks, Sensabaugh, you got Taylor Horton-Tucker, you got Yurtseven, right, that can come off the bench. You got Chris Dunn, who's going to get in there and get minutes. And you still have Sexton, right? You still have Jordan Clarkson. You still have John Collins. So I just don't know if you're going to need 4 or 5 of these guys here. I get it. It is a good matchup. I like grabbing probably 2 or 3 of these Jazz and then 1 or 2, maybe 3 of these Washington sides and just stack it up because Washington has a good matchup too. And a lot of the ownership isn't going outside of Kuzma to this Washington side. So definitely very interesting game here on the Washington side. Like I said, I like Tyus Jones. I like Marvin Bagley. Kuzma's fine. And then lower owned guy, Corey Kispert, dual position eligible. He should be chucking up 3-point attempts in a plus matchup here. So I don't hate that. But overall, very interesting game. Definitely an important game for DFS purposes tonight here. Let's jump to the next game here. Chicago, Sacramento. In terms of the total in this one, 228.5 total. Sacramento favored by 7. In terms of injury news, Caruso is questionable. De'Aaron Fox is questionable. Torrey Craig is out for Chicago. So obviously Fox news matters here. Caruso news matters a little bit. But talk to me in this one. Game starts at 9 p.m., a full hour after that Washington game, and a full 2.5 hours after the start of the slate. Talk to me, Chicago, Sacramento.
Yeah, I mean the big news is obviously we want to see what Fox is doing. I think it was it was Friday night when Rio and I were on, and the no late swap on DK. Lo and behold, about 7:05, we get the news that Fox is out. Just sent everybody into straight tilt. So we want to make sure we get that Fox news, but I mean, obviously, if he plays, I think he should be in your player pool. Don't mind that at all. And then I like a lot of these pieces for the Bulls. Actually, Sacramento not the best defending the wing or forward position. So give me some of these wings. Give me some of these forwards. For the Chicago Bulls. That includes, he's a more of a center type. But give me some Andre Drummond for this Bulls team. Certainly don't mind him. And then I don't mind Kobe White, kind of a combo guard, if you will. And then the last one that I want to touch on is Vukovic. So give me those three, would probably be my favorite Bulls. And I think you can run it back with Mr. Triple-Double himself, Sabonis. I think he's always in play. I mean, the thing about him, obviously, is his price is up there at 10-5, but he's got triple-double upside every night. I mean, obviously, you're going to pay for a couple studs. So for me, it would be Sabonis, AD, or Giannis, kind of who you're looking at, but certainly don't mind him. I haven't built teams yet, so still got work to do on that, but certainly don't mind Sabonis. Certainly don't mind Fox if he plays. And then I think we got to talk about Malik Monk. I mean, just what he did the other night. I think it was something like, 30, DraftKings points in the last 12 minutes of the game or something crazy like that. So I think he's always in play. Certainly if De'Aaron Fox is out, I think Malik Monk is squarely in play.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown. Obviously can play Sabonis here. You can play Sabonis anytime. I do want to hit on one point, Andre Drummond, right? We saw some overlap between him and Vucevic's minutes last game with Caruso returning. If Caruso misses, I think that gives me more interest in a guy like Andre Drummond because we could see more double big lineup between Drummond and Vucevic sharing the court together. At 5'2", I still think he's a solid option. I would like it more if Caruso, like I said, were to miss this game. So definitely monitor that because that would give me more interest in a guy like Andre Drummond at 5'2". So I don't hate that. Kobe White is popping to be pretty chalky here in this slate at 7,300. I don't know if I can do it. I think I'm going to be off with Kobe White here. He just hasn't looked right. I mean, 2 of 14, 5 of 18, 6 of 17, 5 of 20. Finally, last game, he shot 7 of 14. But, man, he just hasn't been shooting good. He hasn't been getting a ton of peripherals. And that is an expensive price point to play. You got to put him up against guys like Colin Sexton, right? Obviously, you're going to get lower ownership on a guy like Kobe White than a Colin Sexton here, but I would much rather just play Colin Sexton because both of them are obviously going to be owned. You got Cam Johnson in that Brooklyn game, some other guys there. So I'm going to be off Kobe White here. I get the reasoning, right? He's going to play all the minutes here. I'm just going to take a wait-and-see approach. On the Bulls side, Ayo DeSumo also projected to be pretty popular here at 5'7". He's going to play all the minutes. I mean, 38-plus minutes, right? He's been his last 5 games, 41 minutes, 39 minutes, 38. 48 is likely an overtime game there, right, against Cleveland, and then 38 against Milwaukee. I think he's fine at 5,700. I prefer him over a guy like Kobe White due to the salary savings there. But outside of that, I mean, maybe grabbing a piece or two from this game. Andre Drummond would probably be my favorite when you do all things considered, right? Price, the matchup. Still, it was nice to see a little bit of overlap there between him and Vuce last game, even with Caruso in there. So overall, Drummond, Ayo DeSumo for me on the Bulls side, and on the Kings side, if Fox is in there, not a ton of interest overall for me in this one. Jump to the next one here, OKC and the Lakers. Last game of the slate in terms of a total, second highest total on the board, 238 total, just a 1.5 point spread. In terms of injury news, you got the standard probable tags on AD. LeBron is questionable. Probable tag on Cam Reddish. Christian Wood remains out for the Lakers. And then Jalen Williams with a Y does have a questionable tag for OKC. But last game of the night here, pretty juicy game, second highest total on the slate. Very close spread in this one. Where are you going? OKC, Lakers.
Yeah, as the big price guys, 10K plus guys go, I think AD is going to be my favorite one. I just don't see Chet Holmgren or any of these other bigs containing AD. I think this is an AD eruption spot. I really like him tonight. Going up against this team, second night of a back-to-back. I mean, him and LeBron, assuming LeBron plays, are going to want to come out and beat the number 1 seed. I think they're the number 1 seed right now in the Western Conference. I think this is a big game for the Lakers. Obviously, they're relatively healthy. LeBron and AD are questionable, but they're always questionable. Assuming they play, they'll be fully loaded with Austin Reeves, D'Lo, Rui, I mean, Dinwiddie, the whole team. But give me some AD. Really like him tonight at 10-1. I think he breaks the slate tonight, highest scoring player on the slate. So he's my favorite. And then I got to show love to my guy Jalen Williams for the OKC Thunder. Love him every night, but really like him tonight as well. 7,300. It's an expensive price to pay, especially for a power forward. But don't mind him at all. And then other than that, that's really going to do it for me in this game, just based on the fact that it's expensive pieces, and I think we can get other players elsewhere.
Great breakdown. I do want to talk on one guy in particular on the OKC side, just because I think he goes overlooked here and he has the potential to go for 70 DraftKings points. It's SGA, right? I think this game is competitive here. Lakers aren't the best against the guard position here. SGA has scored 30 points in 10 straight, 11 straight, something like that. And I think he's in line for 30 real life here again. Picks up peripherals, potentially flirts with that triple-double again like he did the last game, right, where he had 9 assists, 8 rebounds, 35 points. He gets you that triple-double in this matchup here. He went for 70 last game, just missing the triple-double, obviously, against Phoenix. I get it. It is a back-to-back. They're traveling across, right, from Phoenix to LA here. But it's a competitive game. Second highest total on the slate. I think not only that, all the guard positions, right, are guys from this Utah team, right, or value guys that other guys want to play here. I think spending up at the guard position here, preferably with SGA, I think is a contrarian route here tonight that could bode a ton of success in tournaments here. So I do have a lot of interest in SGA. I also love your take on Anthony Davis. I love the matchup for AD here. AD's fared pretty well against these guys. Again, he's going to play upper 30s minutes. Always has a triple-double upside. Always has the 70-plus fantasy point upside here. So I do like him. And then one other guy, I think Austin Reeves gets the ownership in that mid-tier for the Lakers. Give me D'Angelo Russell over Austin Reeves here for $400 more. It does suck. He is only point guard eligible, whereas Austin Reeves does have that shooting guard. That's likely why his ownership. But I just like the spot more for a guy like D'Angelo Russell. So for me, 80, SGA, D'Angelo Russell here. There's tons of value to fit. I haven't built many teams yet, but I wouldn't hate doing a double spend up in the late night hammer game here and grabbing some of that value from the Utah side, some of those other value pieces we talked about, and see if you can make a SGA and AD team work here. That's all 6 games. How much? I'll kick it over to you. Any final thoughts for the people here? Any comments in the chat sticking out to you? Any final remarks?
Yeah, I mean, you just alluded to that. Could you play SGA and AD in the tournament? I mean, you can. I mean, you're going to be strapped with salary once you do that and have to find a lot of value. But there is a lot of value on that Utah side, Memphis, Brooklyn. If you wanted to go there, I mean, those are 2 great plays. I mean, Nades loves SGA to get 70 potentially, and I think AD could get 70 potentially too. I mean, obviously no guarantee, but I think that's okay. But yeah, I think the key piece, and you alluded to it all show, was going to be that Utah game with Washington, right? And so you got to find the right pieces. It doesn't matter who you play; it's how you play them, as the great Tambo always says. So you got to find the right pieces. There's going to be some value. How many studs can you jam in? But it should be an entertaining night, especially for those folks that, like I said, that like to switch lineups all night, wait on that news. So we'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes as always. But as always, we appreciate everyone watching. Appreciate all the interaction in the comment section. Slate plan is already basically finalized up on the website over there. You can get access to that by using that promo code up on the screen there. Hoop15 coming off a massive weekend here. Going into another massive week for the nation over here. We got you covered with all sports. NHL tonight, obviously NBA. Hoop and Tambo and the guys are going to be jumping on the PGA shows, going through the PGA tournament for this week. MMA as well. And right around the corner, MLB. We're working behind the scenes talking on MLB, and we'll have you covered here. It's about right around 3 weeks away, the MLB season. So get in over at SHIPIT Nation. Use that promo code HOOP15. Get you 15% off any membership. But for Hamwich, I'm Nadesify. Appreciate everyone watching. Good luck tonight in your contest. Hope to see those SHIPIT Nation logos at the top. Let's ship it.